It's a thrilling day when the heavy machines thunder out to clear the site, like an army rolling out to conquer a new world.
Well over 400,000 people, quarter of Singapore's population, has been rehoused in the last 5 years in these bright, modern, airy flats. This is how the new Singapore will look.
Over 2 centuries, we have built and rebuilt generations of buildings. Now, a new downtown is taking shape in Marina South. For some years, we left the new land fallow. Definite plans only came later, as we developed a clearer sense of what the city needed and began putting the building blocks in place.
每个都住得很好，不像我们的港崩，自己养鸡、自己种菜、自己全部是自己的，我们自己做的全部。政府族以前是山地来的，你know毛登，好像毛登很多石头、很多泥土嘛，所以我们那个政府的人就赶我们了，我们去拿政府族屋还许你咯，要把这个泥土全部就去。填那个 Marine Parade， 现在的 Marine Parade 以前是海来的，所以长得很多了，对不对？以前是海来的。新加坡越发展越好吗？你说好不好？
好啊。
好，对吧？
I think it's a very interesting piece of property and land that has a very rich history in our community. Singapore was the city that disappeared beneath the sand.
How much of this story do you know? None of it? Okay, well, by the time 1874 came, there were no trees left. They'd all been cut down. And the folks in Singapore chose to move as much of the city as they could on the frozen river to where our house is, which was that wing of this house. They were depopulating Singapore.
When I first heard that the lost town of Singapore was there, my first thought was this is going to be a big issue with them building. We were brought on this project because the Corps of Engineers decided that this marina project had the potential to impact archaeological remains associated with the 19th century town of Singapore. Our job was to determine if this project was going to impact it. In this case, we ended up finding the remains of Singapore, and it turns out that there are indeed archaeological deposits that are still intact. Singapore still has a very broad story it can tell us. These dunes have been around for tens of thousands of years, and they will continue to be around. They will continue to outlive us.
There were a whole bunch of houses that just literally fell in the water for the same reasons, the same kind of erosion that we're seeing now. And this new development is bringing back new life to that area. They're building a new Singapore, but Singapore ran into Mother Nature. Nature has to be treated with respect.
Sand is an ephemeral landscape. It's not meant to be stable. I think that anyone who builds anything within those dune systems is going to have continued problems with sand. Problems that they can't foresee.
What we do in Prospect is that we actually manufacture dry mix as our main business, and as for the side business, we import sand for the building and construction of Singapore. There are still a lot of upcoming areas where the government has planned in the master plan where it needs to be developed. And Singapore being such a small island, we do not have any natural resources. So all the resources that we have, the material that we need to actually build all these buildings are actually being imported. The government actually do not have much choice, because if they stop building, the economy of Singapore will be affected, because most of the people in Singapore are actually in the construction line. Your banks, your engineers, your architects, most of them are actually falling back onto the development of Singapore.
So all our sturgeon have to come right through here. They come, this is the river, they can't go anywhere else. Every fish that comes up, every fish that comes down. The river isn't where the river historically used to be, but at some point humans diverted the river because it was better for shipping. You just want to get her front right here? I got her tail. Most people don't understand why we work on sturgeon or why we want to keep them in our river, but like once they're gone, they're gone. Like once we develop all this and the deer are not here anymore, like the deer are not here anymore. Like they're not gonna come back if it's all concrete. I feel like we're developing everything. Like there's no nature left. Like there's nothing that's off limits for us to develop.
Yang ditambak tu pulau yang besar-besar, Pulau Sudong, Pulau Hantu, Pulau Busing, East Coast, Pasir Putih tu daripada mana dia orang ambil? Yang terumbu karang yang dia orang musnahkan tu, dia cakap kita yang merosakkan benda tu. Tak pernah kita nak musnahkan benda terumbu karang, batu karang tu kat sana. Tak pernah. Cuma kita menangkap ikan aja apa. Itu je. Tak ada lain. Dia cakap kita yang hancurkan benda tu. Tapi yang perkara yang sebenar, siapa yang hancurkan tu?
Well, I could see this as sand dunes. You know, sand dunes shift and change their landscape. And so this could just be pure landscaping of sand dunes, of trees so thick that you couldn't see through them, of marshlands over further back that wild rice grew in, that there were blueberry marshes over here, that you'd find cranberries, that you would see so many geese and ducks, cranes, you know, wildlife by the thousands just flooding this area, and the sound would be deafening. Houses are gone. Someday. Yeah, it is beautiful.
Our weather is palpably hotter, rainstorms are heavier, and this will very likely worsen over the next few decades. And because we are a low-lying island, Singapore is especially vulnerable to one grave threat, and that is rising sea levels. Polders are one option to protect our eastern coastline. Because instead of just building a seawall along the coastline, you extend out with a polder, build a seawall further out. You not only protect the existing low-lying peak areas, but you extend out and then create more land reclaimed from the sea, which we can use for housing and other valuable purposes.
How would you build your house? Like, what house will you make to survive? I built my house in the sea, easy. Supposingly, you just build to the bottom if you can of the ocean, and then after that it's just like that. And then, but you must make a tube first, and then you can go up, and down there is a bigger house with a compartment you can go down and up. And up here, you're actually also holding up your house, like in space.
没有 flood， 我们这边不会 flood 的，阿爸讲你那边都会，因为那边做 MRT 什么嘛，所以它就会 flood 咯，挖这边挖那边。